Good afternoon, hello, my name is Daniel, and you can disagree with me if you like, but you'll be wrong. This is the perfect winter road bike, or perfect for me winter road bike. This is a Canyon Grizl CF SL7 gravel bike, and I know that gravel bike to road bike videos have been done to death, but this is a specific build with me being a road racer, crit racer, time trialer and triathlete in mind, and I think it's perfect. So let me talk to you about why. So I've been through the frame set. It is a carbon frame, it's got the split saddle seat post, it is absolutely lovely to ride, it's compliant, the geometry is that of a road bike, it's actually exactly the same geometry as my Endure Race in a different size, but it works out right for me. The big changes are pretty evident: wheels, mudguards, tyres. So let's start there. The mudguards are the official Canyon mudguards. Now, I'm not saying these are better than any other mudguards, but for this specific bike, buying the ones off the shelf that fit the bike that you're riding, no faff, no hassle, just stick them on, ready to go, and that is a big plus point. If I was to make any adaptations to this, then yes, I might bring the mudguards in closer to the tyres a little bit, I might put a flap on the back, but because this is a gravel bike and not just like a winter road or an all-road bike, the clearance is ridiculous. I've got the mudguards a million miles off the tyres and still got plenty of clearance within the frame. And what that also means is that when I've been for a ride, it's dirty, I need to clean it, it's so easy to get into the nooks and crannies because there's so much space everywhere. There's nothing worse than when you ride in and you can hear your mudguards rubbing. That just does not happen on this bike, so I'm absolutely loving it for that reason. Wheels and tyres, these are the stock wheels that came with this bike. I haven't actually ridden these wheels until I've set them up in the road, guys. I've got some Zip 303S's for gravelling, but these I've hung on to with this in mind. They're pretty bulletproof, they're quite heavy, they're not fast, but they're perfect for a winter road hack. And I've paired those with some Conti GP 5000 all-season tyres. These are the winter tyres. These are the tyres that replace the 4-season, the Conti GT 4000 4 seasons. Initial impressions, I've ridden this a few times on the road. They feel really grippy and really tacky, and even just a touch they feel quite tacky as well. So I'm hoping that they're slightly more puncture resistant and a bit grippier in the wet. These are 32 mils. They look not that big on this bike, but they are quite big tyres. They fit the rim profile quite well though, and it was just a case of me putting on the biggest tyres I could fit. I did actually want 35s, but I couldn't find any 35s in this spec, but 32 is big enough. Now, how were those tyres set up? Now, I've set them up clincher, and I know some of you tubeless diehards might disagree with that, but hear me out. I train with clincher on the road. I, touch wood, only have a couple of punctures a year, and for those couple of times I don't mind just changing an inner tube for the sake of having to keep sealant topped up and having the mess when you have a puncture. I'd rather just set them up clincher. It's easier to maintain and easier to use day to day, in my opinion. So that's how they're set up. I do run them about 60 psi, so there is a risk of a pinch flat, but I'm not riding that fast in winter, so I'm trying not to rattle through potholes if I can help it. And in the spirit of not riding that fast through winter, that takes me to the group set. And again, this is the standard factory group set. So I've got a 40 tooth one by and a 1044 rear cassette. Now this is great for gravelling, and I did think I'd be a bit undergeared on the road in terms of top speed, and I've pedalled up to around 25-26 miles an hour before the cadence gets too high, but that's fine. In winter, I'm not trying to smash any chain gangs or nail any really fast segments or whatever. This is absolutely great. It gives me quite a low first gear as well, bigger than a 1-to-1 ratio first gear. So when I'm going up the steep hills and I'm doing a lot of like zone 2 easy training over winter, I can really stay in those zones rather than having to kick on because you've got a bigger gear. This is absolutely perfect. You're carrying a lot of stuff, or you're out for a long ride, or you're not in great shape. Just having those gears to go down through is brilliant for me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. The only change I'm going to make to this is, so I do partner with NRG chains. I'll probably put on the SRAM 12-speed flat top chain because they're supposed to be harder wearing than these YBN chains. I'll still use it waxed or with waxed lube from NRG at the very least. In the winter, it keeps drivetrain clean and picks up muck less easily. The pedal system is one that I created for this in gravel, guys, but I've kept it for the winter, and there's a couple of reasons why. So these are mountain bike pedals. They're Expedo M8s on the Favero Asioma Duo pedal body spindles. So that means that I can use my power data exactly the same as I do on the road in the summer, but I can use mountain bike shoes. Now, in winter, it's quite cold in the UK, and I use really thick overshoes like Spats or something, but the difference between these shoes is massive. These shoes that I use in the summer, really well vented, really thin and lightweight, and that's great, but your feet get cold. Whereas the off-road shoes, these are thick rubber on the toe and real thick leather on the side. It just keeps your feet that little bit warmer without really having to try. They're also easy to clean, and they're a third of the price of these, so I'd rather get these trashed up through the winter. When you're walking around more as well, you've got better cleats to walk on, so I'm definitely enjoying using these. I've just noticed, in fact, that I broke the rubber underneath there. That's okay, I'll glue that down and that'll do, because it's winter and it's just a winter hack. Oh, hello. Good lad. Now this Cockpit turns a few heads, I know, and not always for the good reasons, but let me talk you through it. Time trialing and triathlon, I spend a lot of time in the time trial position. So having clip-on bars on this bike means I can get some time trial position training done over winter without having to do a specific session. I can just do some whilst I'm out on the road, and that all helps towards me staying conditioned to be in that position, so that's great. The shifter's being tilted in slightly, and these bars are only 40 centimeters at the tops. That's very similar to my crit bike, so if I am on the tops and I want to get a little bit aero and ride in that position, I'm still doing that same thing. I'm riding in the position that I ride on my race bike, so that when spring comes around and I get the aeroed out, it doesn't feel completely alien. I know it'll feel very different, but it won't feel completely alien. I'll be doing some training towards it, and I think all those sorts of things really help. I've also got flared bars. This is just because it was set up as a gravel bike, but they're quite good when you do some technical descents in the winter, or there's leaves and there's a bit of gravel on the road and you want that more stability or that wider stance. It makes you feel a bit more secure. So I do like mounting the computer to the aero bars as well. I use a Project 76 mount with the GoPro attachment underneath. I'll actually connect a light to that GoPro attachment. It just means that on days like today where it's not dark but it's not really that light, I can put a light underneath, leave it running all day, and that'll mean that I'm seen a lot better. I think finally the biggest thing is the brakes. I cannot believe how good hydraulic road brakes are. These don't squeal at all. They've obviously been set up well. They just work, and they're so easy to modulate. And when you don't want to lock up, or you want to stop before junctions and stuff, they're so predictable. Whereas rim brakes are like, oh, it's wet, there's nothing. Oh, they're gripping. Oh my God, now I'm locked up. Like, these are a lot more consistent, and I'm really enjoying that. It's actually really making me think about getting a disc brake like summer bike, because I'm getting on with it so well, but I'm going to leave that until the spring. So that is it. That's my Canyon Grizl set up as the winter road bike, and I'm absolutely loving riding this. I won't ever go out in below freezing temperatures, but definitely close to that, and this is going to help me get in more miles over the winter for some summer smiles. But let me know down below, what's your perfect winter road bike? Have you converted something to a winter road bike, or have you got a bike that you use all year round?